Then welcome everyone to my slot on this event today. Discover all the possibilities of the Microsoft Power Platform and overview. What is the goal of this slot? We're talking about a lot about BI today, also about Power BI. And the Microsoft Power Platform really encompasses more than just, and I don't want to make it small, but it encompasses more than just BI, right? So there's a lot of products, and I just want to give you a quick overview of all of them. In case you already know those, please do not tune out just yet. I also have two very nice examples how you, in the end, can integrate and combine different products of the Microsoft Power Platform in order to make a nice use case work. So I hope there's something for everyone. Quick words to myself. My name is Christoph Gschließer. I am, as already mentioned, the product manager for the Microsoft Power Platform in BE-terna DACH, so Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And yeah, I'm working in this field for over 4 years now. It's not much older than many of the components of the Power Platform are. And yeah, I just get started. An overview, what is the Microsoft Power Platform? The Microsoft Power Platform could be described in 3 words or phrases. The Microsoft Power Platform is an Azure-based low-code, no-code platform overall. What does that mean? Really, when we think about the platform aspect of it, the first thing you need to understand is that it's a group of multiple products or tools. So Power BI is one of them, but there's more. And we can combine all of those tools in different ways to realize many use cases and different solutions. Very important. We also talked about low-code, no-code today already. So all the tools, all the products, all the components of the Power Platform come in a low-code fashion, which means that no knowledge in higher languages like C#, Java, you name them, are required to get started. Of course, it doesn't hurt, but you don't need it. Azure-based in this sense means that everything made with the Power Platform is in fact cloud-based, so you have all the availability, scalability, and connectivity which comes with cloud platforms or with the Azure cloud in particular. I've been talking about a lot of different products now, so I'm going to give you a quick overview of the single tools. So one local platform that spans Office, Dynamics, Azure, and standalone applications. What do we have? Power BI. The first one is here for business analytics. I assume you all know you have data. With Power BI, you can make knowledge out of your data to make educated and informed decisions. Very important in a few words. Then the second tool is Power Apps, which the name gives it away, is here for application development. So you can create applications which provide your users with a graphical interface so that they can interact with data, drive processes, and so on and so forth. On the other hand, we have Power Automate, and Power Automate is here for workflow automation and integration. So it's everywhere where you don't want or need user interaction on a real-time basis, because an app, if no user is in front of it, is pretty much useless. A Power Automate workflow, on the other hand, can work in the background without a user constantly sitting in front of it and making inputs and so on. Last but not least, the youngest child in the family are the Power Virtual Agents, which are basically chatbots. Like, it's a small framework where you can very quickly create chatbots to talk to or to chat with internal employees or external customers and just engage them on a more natural level, so to say, like with natural speech. A foundation of all of those tools are Dataverse, data connectors, and the AI Builder, a small database which comes along with the Power Platform, or it's not small, actually, it's quite mature. But yeah, there's a database coming with the Power Platform. That's the important part. There's a lot of data connectors, so you can connect to different sources. You know it from Power BI. You can connect to all kinds of different systems to get data out. Also with Power Apps and Power Automate, you can just connect to systems, execute actions from other systems, get data in, write data there. So you have a lot of flexibility to just enhance your applications with other services and data from other databases. And then also we have the AI Builder, which also comes with the Power Platform, which is just a low-code tool also to build your own custom AI models and then use them. So you send data to the AI service, it does something with it, and you get something with like enriched knowledge back, so to say. So you send up a picture and it tells you what's on it and where it is positioned and how many of those objects there are on the picture, just for example. Then on top, we have Dynamics, Office, and Azure, because of course Power platform components integrate very well with everything which is made by Microsoft. So Dynamics business applications, Office applications, Azure services, or also infrastructure which is deployed in Azure. And of course, you can also make your own business apps and data, or you can connect to your own business apps and data. So you do not have to use Dynamics Office or Azure services, but you can use them. You can also use third-party services or your own systems to build your solutions. Just very quickly, let's jump into the single tools and what the single components are for, just to give you a bit of a deeper look onto the single components. First off, Power BI, I'm just going to go very quickly over it. Make sense of your data with ease, visualize the data and analyze data across different systems, create ad hoc analysis, live dashboards, and interactive reports, and consume them in browser or mobile. So you always have your data and your knowledge with you. And I won't spend too much time on that because that's what the entire day is about. Power Apps, we actually have two different kinds. One is so-called Canvas Power Apps, which are here for creating cloud-based cross-platform applications. So what does that mean? With Canvas Power Apps, you can build highly individual task and or role-based apps. So it's really for one purpose and one group of users, and you can really optimize the interface to make the process as simple as you need it to be. Nothing unnecessary there. Every button is exactly where you want it, and there's only those things which you really need. So there's not much overhead. It's really well suited for those very specialized use cases. Of course, you can also build a big Canvas Power App. There's no hard border there, but that's just what they're most suited for, I would say. Exactly. Optimize the app for the purpose of the app. You can use and combine data from multiple different sources. That's very important. So you can connect to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different sources, get the data into the app, mesh it up, do something with it, and then write back into either of those sources once you're done with a specific process handled by the application. Then you can play those apps either standalone or embedded on browser or mobile, on every device and platform, embedded into a SharePoint, into a Power BI dashboard. And that's actually one of the use cases we're going to see later today. We are going to create a marketing list directly from a Power BI report, which has an embedded Canvas Power App. So stick around if you want to see that. As already mentioned, we have at the moment more than 400 connectors which are out of the box available with Power Apps to connect to cloud services, to different databases, to web APIs, to file types, etc. You could also provide hybrid connectivity to on-premises data sources with a so-called on-premises data gateway, which basically enables the communication from the cloud to your internal database or SharePoint or whatever you want to attach. And you have custom connectivity via custom connector. So there's really also a lot of room to play. If you can't find your system among the 400 plus out of the box connectors, you can also build your own. So you have a lot of possibility to make applications which work together with other services. The other part, or the other type of app which you are about to see, are model-driven Power Apps, which are specialized in creating rich back office applications. One of you maybe might now think that this looks a lot like Dynamics 365 for customer engagement. That is a very valid point because it actually is the same technological basis. So a model-driven Power App is the same technology as Dynamics CRM, as field service, as marketing, as all of those customer engagement applications. So it's a very mature technology, and we can just harness it to make our own custom applications without all the things which come with Dynamics. So if we just need a small application which has nothing to do with Dynamics, we can use the technology and make our own with the same technology, which is very nice. With model-driven Power Apps, you can create rich, responsive back-office applications on top of a Dataverse database. So that's very important. You do not yet, if it's coming or when it's coming is still a big question, you do not have yet the big connectivity which Canvas apps provide. So you have to use it with Dataverse, the database which comes with the Power Platform. You work with components of the unified interface here. So you have actually streamlined app layout across different areas. So you do not have all the freedom that you have in Canvas Power App when it comes to design. You will always have your sitemap on the left. You will always have your views and forms and everything, which looks quite similar, but it's always a very nice and streamlined experience when you work in model-driven Power Apps because you just know where the menu is and you just know how it's built up. Of course, you can also play model-driven apps on every device with out-of-the-box responsiveness, which means it responds to how much space it has available on a given screen. So it's either very vertical or very horizontal. I just mixed vertical and horizontal, but you know what I meant. Then we also have Power Automate, formerly known as Microsoft Flow. So if you know Flow, you also know Power Automate, which is here for automating and integrating your business processes. You basically have something like a flowchart editor to create your workflows. You can also use actions from different systems to automate between them. So it uses the same connectors as Power Apps. So we also here have access to 400 plus out-of-the-box connectors and custom connectors and everything we just mentioned before. You can use conditions, loops, and parallelism, so you can make nice complex workflows also if you have the skill for it. And of course, you can trigger workflows based on a certain event on a scheduled basis or manually. And I'm also going to show off one flow later on, which in my case just sends me a notification when somebody through my app creates a new marketing list. Just, hey, somebody created a marketing list, look at it, check it, and make some improvements, for example. The other component which I just want to talk about, because it's currently actually quite hyped, or it has a lot of attention right now, is so-called robotic process automation, which are also known as UI or desktop flows. And with those, you can actually automate services without interfaces, so without programming interfaces. So if you have an on-prem application which you cannot talk to directly through an API, you can just record a process with a task recorder, and you also record the corresponding inputs you take. So example for creating a new customer in the system. This works with both desktop and web applications. Then you can run the UI flow and automatically execute the recorded task with dynamically filled values. So really a mouse is moving then on your computer. It's like there's a ghost sitting in front of it, and it basically replicates the process you recorded before, but inputs the values you tell it to put into the respective fields. And basically you can then watch the UI flow and go drink coffee, because you should not disturb the flow while it works, because it will be confusing for it, of course. Last but not least, I know I'm moving very fast, but it's just to give you a general idea of the possibilities here. We have analytics, we have apps to drive processes, we have workflows in the background, and we also have chatbots. And just think about what you can do with it. It's really so much that you can't even list half of it in an hour. So you can go into every area, into every kind of use case, and just think about how can I use all of those components to drive processes, and how to analyze then my data in order to make the processes better, in order to drive my business, in order to make decisions. So that's the purpose of this quick overview. So if I'm too fast, don't worry. You're not supposed, or you don't have to understand everything to the deepest right now. Power Virtual Agents create chatbots for internal and external channels. So you basically define topics your bot should be able to handle. For example, an order or a service inquiry, something a flow or a bot should be able to talk about, basically. Then you can also define how your bot should behave in those topics. So which questions should it ask? What should it do with the answers it gets to the questions? Should it extract information? Should it store the information somewhere? It's really your own choice. You can then also design conversation paths. So what does the bot do depending on how the customer or also employee responds? And which is very powerful, you can also integrate Power Automate to execute tasks in the background while the bot is chatting with the person. So when the bot asks, for example, after the customer says, hey, I have a problem with my shipping, the bot can ask, what's your shipping number? Then the customer gives the shipping number, and then the bot hands it over to Power Automate. Power Automate goes into the system with the shipping number, looks onto the status and says, hey, I found your order. It's currently shipped. It will be here in 2 days. And it can really get this information from other system for the virtual agent, give it back, and the virtual agent can then respond. So also here we have a really tight integration between Power Automate and virtual agents, for example. After you're done, so after you set up your flow or your Power Virtual Agent, I don't know why I keep saying flow all the time, you can expose your bot on various channels. And there we have Teams, Skype, We have Facebook Messenger. You can publish it on a website. I think you also have Telegram. And so you have many different channels where you can just expose your bot to people, where they can talk to the bot, where they can get their information, where they can place their inquiries. Good, 14 minutes left. I think I'm doing very good in time. As so often, the total is greater than the sum of its parts. I talked about we have many different tools. They have all their own purposes, but if you combine them, you can harness the true power of the Power Platform. So around Dataverse, which can be your home for all of your data, for all of your applications, you can build apps on it, which drive business processes. You can automate your app with Power Automate in the background. You can analyze the data exhaust from an app with Power BI. Of course, when there's a process, there's always data exhaust, which just screams to be analyzed, because if it's just lying there, it's no good for anyone. With Power Automate, on the other hand, you can drive business processes with an app. You can analyze data to find places to automate with Power BI. You can automate response metrics. You can automate responses to metrics, to Power BI. So if you have an alert, if some thresholds are passed, you can just kick off a Power Automate flow and it does something for you. So really, there's a lot of different ways to integrate those tools, and we will look at two of them right now, just practical examples. First, the more classic BI integration approach, which is putting analytics into applications. It's nothing really new. I still want to show it off. So we have here basically a model-driven Power App where we do all of it. And I'm very sorry, this Power App in particular is German. The other one will be in English, but I will explain you what it does just so you get a grasp of it. And we will just integrate a dashboard right here. So when I go into my app now, that's an app. It reminds, as I said, of D365. It's a model-driven Power App. We have here all of our customers. I can go on BE-terna as a customer. I see all of the data associated with the customer and so on and so forth. I have my timeline here, which also comes from Dynamics Customer Engagement. You have contacts you can click onto. And this particular use case is here for handling tenders and campaigns. So I can go inside here. I see my campaigns. I see all campaigns. I can also go to the tenders, for example. So if I go to the tender number 5, I see in which stage it is. I can work with it. I can drive the process because I have all of the fields which are necessary already filled out. You see, I have a test here. So if I should take this out, the process will immediately say, hey, you cannot go to the next stage because there's something missing. And of course, when people or departments handle all of those tenders, all of those campaigns, all of those contracts, there is always somebody who wants to know what's going on with all of them. So for that particular reason, we have a Power BI report just integrated right into the application. So you don't have to go far. You see everything which is going on. We see there's a normal Power BI dashboard with all of the tenders according to their phase. So draft, pre-sales, quote, offer, project, and closed, or ended. And we can do our drill down filters. We can do everything what we want. We also have a list here, and we can then again link back to the respective tender, and just when we click, jump off there. And now we're on the tender and can work with it again. So it's a nice closed loop where we drive the process with a model-driven Power App. We analyze the data exhaust with Power BI, which is integrated into the same application. So we don't have to jump far. And then when we find something, we can just click again on the tender and jump right back into the record and continue our work. That's basically it. I guess it's very familiar approach to just bring analytics into applications. I'm just checking if there are any questions. Not yet. Of course, if there should be any, please feel free to just post them. The second use case is a Canvas app, as already mentioned, which is integrated into a Power BI report, which analyzes data from a dynamic CRM system. So that's really now a full-fledged CRM. You see there's not much difference, except it says Dynamics instead of Power Apps in front, but it's the same technology. I just want to stress this once more. You have there a really mature app framework to build your applications. And yeah, we again have all of our accounts, all of our contacts. You already saw that. But now we go into our marketing. So we have campaigns, spring campaign, the fall campaign, the summer campaign, and the winter campaign. We have an exclusive event campaign for all of our customers. So we want to have an event in summer for all of our top customers. And we, of course, also want to create a new marketing list for them. I will just delete this marketing list right now, so you see that there's nothing there yet. So in this process, I would now have to ask myself as a user, who are my top customers? And of course, I could go into the system, I could open a list, I could make an Excel sheet, and I could sum up all of the orders the customer had in the last couple of years, but then that's not what I want to do. I want to open a dashboard, I want to slice a bit of data, and then I want to just have a nice chart which shows me all of my top customers from a certain period of time. And then I want to very easily create the marketing list and add exactly those companies to the marketing list. And that's now where this dashboard comes in. This is not supposed to win a beauty prize. It's a technical demo. Of course, you can make the dashboard a lot prettier. You can also make the app a lot prettier. You can actually make it look as you like. So this is our nice pink corporate design right here. And as I said, I'm having my dashboard here. I see good, how many orders by status do I have? What's my top customers by revenue? Where are those customers? And I will now just slice it by time. And you see it's rather, do you still see my screen?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I see a camera now.
All good. We see it.
Okay. Good. Where was I? Exactly. As you see, I have a demo system here, so all the data is from 2015 and 16, but that doesn't matter. And I can now just select by customers. So I see, hey, there's a few customers which have more than 6 million of revenue in this time frame. So I can just select them right here. Whichever I want. Maybe I just take the top 7 now. And now I have my Canvas app right here. So this is an embedded Canvas app. And the cool thing about it is it takes data from the context of Power BI. So right now I just have to create in the marketing list. I'm in step 1 of 3. As I said, it's very, very simple and it's very simplistic also. So there's only things which I need for creating the marketing list, nothing else, because nothing else interests me at this point in time. I now say top customers for event. Purpose, event invitations. And here I put my description, just a unique identifier. I say create marketing list, and you can see that right now I already have this marketing list here. So it's directly connected to the system, but there's nothing inside yet. Then I have in the next step tied to campaigns. So which campaigns do I want to tie it to? To the exclusive event, yeah, and then maybe also to the summer campaign. I go back to my system, refresh, already there. Real-time access, real-time integration. Then I click next. Third and final step, I now have all of the selected customers here. If I should decide to get rid of a few and hit refresh here, it's less. If I want to add more of them, of course, it's more. And as you can see right now, just to believe me, there's no members right now. As soon as I hit the finish button right here, it needs just a few seconds to relate all of those records in the background. And now when I go back to my marketing list and hit refresh, I have all of those customers now right in this marketing list as members. Also, I can click here to check it in the system, which is again just a link back to the main application. So when I click, I jump off, I go directly into this marketing list, see which campaigns it is part of, see which members there are, and basically the process is done. I was also telling you about Power Automate before, because Power Automate is just sitting here and listening in the background if a marketing list is created by any chance. And if there is, it says, "Hi, Christoph, a new marketing list called Top Customers for Event has been created in BE-terna Demo 13. And please click here to open it in the system." And of course, it will open a new link and jump to the exact same spot. To close the circle, we can then, of course, also integrate this dashboard again into the model-driven Power App. So we now have a embedded Power BI report in a model-driven app, which has an embedded Canvas app, which writes into the model-driven app, and the Power Automate flow, which brings it all together in terms of notification. So there's really an integration inception going on here, but it is pretty nice for people who have to work with those kinds of things. With that being said, I'm open for questions. We only have 4 minutes left. So we can also come back to you after the event if we should not be able to answer your question